Tense moments play out on camera as officers opened fire on a man following a pursuit and standoff. The March incident beginning hours earlier when Chino police got a call about a woman being assaulted.
She's bleeding pretty bad from her head.
Do you know how she got hurt?
Yeah, I came outside on my lunch break and some guy was beating on her.
Surveillance video shows a man police say is 47-year-old Jose Martinez confronting the victim and trying to force her into his vehicle. He fails and then takes off. Police later locate the vehicle and try to stop it, but that's when Martinez starts ramming the police cruisers.
David 1033, suspects ramming police cars. 1033, code 3 back, Foothill.
Martinez escapes and begins leading police on a dangerous pursuit. He continued on both freeways and surface streets, at times traveling at more than 100 miles an hour. Officers eventually executing a pit maneuver in Montclair. That's when an hour-long standoff began. It ended when he quickly got out of the vehicle in what appeared to be a shooting stance. Officers opened fire and later took Martinez to the hospital in critical condition. He's recovering from his wounds and is due in court.
That dude is very lucky that he's still alive after getting shot. One good thing, or bad thing, I don't know how you want to say it, but if you're going to ram the cop cars and then come out of the unit acting like you're going to be Joe Palooka and Quick Draw McDraw and in a shooting stance, most likely you are going to get shot. Very tragic story in a police pursuit today. 2 kids were injured in a carjacking that turned into a head-on collision. Here's the NBC4 report as we go.
A police pursuit has ended in a crash. Julia Dang is live in News Chopper 4 with an update. Julia, this is an awful scene here.
This is just horrific, Annabelle. We've zoomed in a little bit more now. Earlier I told you we didn't want to shoot this too tight because we were concerned we would show something graphic. You see that pink blanket in the center of the screen here. No fatalities have been confirmed, so we're not showing any bodies, anything graphic here. And the 2 kids who were pulled out of this car, they have been taken to a hospital. We still don't know their conditions, but we did confirm with Inglewood investigators those 2 kids were in the suspect's vehicle. And as we reported earlier, that suspect was being pursued by Culver City Police. They're still on scene here, in addition to CHP and Inglewood Police. This ended here just about an hour ago, just after 10 in the morning. And again, this is at the intersection of Centinela and La Brea. Unclear where the suspect is at this.
So when we get an update on that particular incident, hope those 2 kids make a full recovery. Carl DeMaio, your insurance rates are going to go up substantially again. Say it ain't so, Carl.
Just a week after State Farm Insurance got a 17% whopping increase in their rates approved, now they're going for a 30% increase in rates. And of course, Democrats are blaming it all on Donald Trump. Coming up, we'll tell you all about the rate increases, why it's not just going to happen with State Farm, how Democrats are actually to blame, and we've got a 3-point plan that will save you thousands of dollars.
Blame it on Trump. This stuff is getting old. When it's the Democrats, as Carl correctly points out, that are behind 98.7% of this stuff, run, Kamala, run.
So mapping out their path forward as the party grapples with its losses in last year's presidential race.
Questions over who will lead the state once Governor Newsom is termed out were front and center during the state's Democratic Party convention in Anaheim over the weekend.
ABC 7 News political reporter Monica Madden is here now. And Monica, we got a better idea of the front runners during the convention.
We're getting there, Dan, and part of the reason why it's not really emerged yet, the 2 top people, is for a couple reasons. Number one, the race is crowded with more than a dozen Republican and Democratic candidates officially running for governor. But the biggest question right now is whether former Vice President Kamala Harris will run and if she's who Democrats want to lead.
Run, Kamala, run. If we got a shot at beating anybody, it's going to be Kamala Harris. And again, if not, let's just burn it down and get on with it. Street vendors are working for the cartels. OAN report, here we go.
Are actually brought in by box trucks from Tijuana as well as Los Angeles. Morning and night is what the court documents say. And yes, these carts are actually run by people who don't even live in San Diego, and they're paying off smuggler debts.
At Spectrum, we know
And yes, they're being run by the cartels. And we've said this time and time again. That's why we got to clean up the illegal immigration. Donald J. Trump said FAFO to Newsom. He didn't listen. He posts this: a biological male suspected in California girls state finals, or competed in California girls state finals, winning big, despite the fact they were warned not to do so, as Governor Gavin Newsom fully understands. Large-scale fines will be imposed. Get more on that story as we get on later on into the show. Egg prices going down 61%. Everybody said that was impossible. Donald J. Trump pulled it off. We'll get into that and more as we proceed in the next hour or so. Well, there's that funky slide guitar music again. A little bit live after 5. I think we're up on YouTube on the Roy Blecker channel and Facebook. Got through the intro just on, and then boom, there's been thunderstorms or something. I don't know. It kicked us right off the internet, shut the computers down, whole thing. So we got to back up. Well, we got 10 minutes or so. Maybe Dr. Kelly will call in coming up, and we'll get to some of the stuff. Not much. That Chino police shooting, and that was on March 10th. It would have been my dad's 85th birthday. Obviously, he didn't make that, but that was a wild scene. And like you said, man, you want to challenge the cops, you ram into them and then come out looking like you're going to shoot her with anything but surrendering. The odds are you are going to be shot. And he was. It's a wonder they didn't kill him. We'll see how that goes. That was a grisly story. That carjacking had a head-on collision. The mom and 2 kids were still in the car. 2 kids were taken to the hospital. We hope they are okay on that. Of course, insurance rates going up precipitously, as we would like to say. They said Trump, remember, was as soon as Trump took his hands off the Bible shortly after 12 noon, January 20th, 2025. Why egg prices are down? He promised egg prices would be down the second. Well, they're down 61% since that day he was sworn into office. I don't hear all the caterwauling, Stacy, that was going on. That's why we love Donald J. That's what we posted on IA Newswire today. Price drop. Price of eggs has dropped 61% since Trump took office. Data shows Viva la Trump. 61%. Joe Biden killed 100 million frickin' chickens. It's incredible. Incredible. Some of the assaults we have to take here. Newscomb is getting California fined, as Trump posted on True Social today. The biological male who won the gold medal in the state California finals in the high and long jump, he was warned by Trump not to do this. Newsom fully understood. Now large fines will be imposed on us Californians. Of course, as Carl DeMaio, and we won't have a chance, maybe we'll get to it tomorrow, we'll jam some of that in. Insurance, like he said, State Farm came up and had a, what? You can't believe it? 17% increase got approved by CalFart Lara. Now they want 30% and going higher. How we get ourselves into these absolutely ridiculous situations, we have only ourselves to blame in California for electing these clowns. Update on the 65-cent a gallon gas tax and the vote to raise it. We thought we might have a little progress on the 4 Democrats. And again, 4 Democrats came out at the California Air Resources Board hearings and said, oh, you know, we can't raise the gas prices up. Well, all 4 of them either didn't vote or voted against the Republican bill to eliminate carbs deal. We'll get more, hopefully, into that tomorrow, along with Kamala Harris. I didn't cover much of the Democratic convention, which went on this weekend down in Anaheim and OC. They're right in the heart. Oh, you used to be Republican territory. They actually voted. They voted for Clinton, I believe, Biden, and then Harris in Orange County. Almost unreal. Once, they used to call it red Orange County because, I mean, Republican would win that. Republican for president in California would win Orange County by 70% plus. Not too long ago. But they're all on pins and needles. All the rats don't know what to do because Kamala's not making up her mind what she wants to, where she's going to go if she's going to make a run for the California governor. And really, she probably has a better shot at getting that than the presidency of the United States in 2028. And even if she did want to run for president, there's no better platform she could do it from than being the governor of California. So I think there's pretty good odds she's going to do it. I really hope so, because I think we can beat her. And not saying it would end her political career, because you never, especially in politics, you never say never, because you'll eat those words 9,432 times in a day sometimes. But I think she's going to run. I really hope so. Like I've said before, there's 2 shots. Whether it's Chad, Sheriff Chad, Steve Hilton, whether Rick Grinnell or Caruso jumps in the race, if we can get one of those guys or a center-right candidate in the top 2, and the other one is Kamala Harris, we got a shot. We got a big shot to win it. We got the best shot. We probably had to win it since Arnold Kennedy, but that's a whole, he really wasn't a Republican, as he proved in that. But really, I would say since Pete Wilson, we haven't had a chance to elect a really center-right guy governing the state of California. And that was in the 90s. So I think we can do it. I think we can beat. If there's any candidate we can beat, she would be easier to beat than Katie Porter. As psycho chick as she is, as totally a psycho chick as Katie Porter is, I think we can take her. I really do. Let's see. Well, we got Dr. Kelly coming in. We got a couple minutes. Let's see. Since we're running short on time today, well, not much. Here's Sean coming in.
Yeah, you got about 30 seconds, Roy.
You're lucky I'm on. Come on at 5 o'clock. Or I got everything was on 5 o'clock. We've been, I don't know if you've been having thunderstorms. Here come, shut everything down.
Yeah, we haven't had
me
any
off
too
the
bad.
net. Yeah, it must have been Frontier because my power stayed on, but it knocked all my computers out.
Oh, boy.
So I had to refire back up. Hopefully we'll get hopefully the technical stuff is done and we'll get Dr. Kelly here.
All right, here we go. 10 seconds.
Hillbilly hoedown around.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM. Broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast studio audience. Well, today on Facebook and YouTube, because we got definitely knocked off the internet. Right at 5 o'clock, I got everything, got the intro in, was just starting. All my computers went dead. So it was about 5:20 before I got everything back online, but we're doing that. Hopefully, we'll get Dr. Kelly calling in here today since she was off and played hooky on us yesterday. But it's been absolutely incredible, some of the runs we've been on this deal. I will say, of all the potential deals, and we were just coming in off of KMET, Democrats had their convention Monday, and they are in a quandary over there. They're sitting there, they're waiting for Kamala to make up her mind. And I've said it 5,432 times. I've been saying run, Kamala, run for governor of California, because if there's anybody we can beat with a center-right candidate, and at this point, I'm not picky. I'm not going to say I don't care. I'm not picky about who runs, but there's two things. We can beat, if there's a candidate we can beat, it's Kamala, and if we don't, then let's just burn California to the ground and we'll see if we can rebuild it out of the ashes. But as we usually do on a Monday, but today is a Tuesday, we have, as I've determined her, the supreme physician in all the world, expert on COVID-19 and just about everything else, Dr. Kelly Victory. Welcome to IE Newswire with Roy.
Hey, Roy, happy to do it on whatever day of the week. And by the way, I'm with you. Let's keep Kamala in the race for governor. And please, Lord Jesus, let's keep Tim Walz in the race on the Democrat side. Okay? Because, yeah, keep these people. They are the most unlikable, most unelectable candidates you'll ever have. And so keep them in the race. I love it.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Tampon Timmy there. The Democrats, I don't know if you know, the Democrats had their state convention down here in Anaheim during the weekend. And Kamala didn't show up. She showed up on tape. She didn't show up live. But they had Tampon Timmy in there speaking at the California State Convention down there in Anaheim. Like I say, those two, again, I'm a firm believer. Everyone needs to encourage Kamala to run. We need you, Kamala. You're the only one that can save us from Trump, California from Trump, yada, yada, yada. Get in the race, because either way, I think that's the only shot we got.
No, I agree. And I think if you just, the absolute, our mantra should be, let them speak.
Yes.
Okay? Let them speak. That is all you need to do. You give them the rope. Give them enough rope. They will hang themselves. Kamala Harris, I used to say, and it's true, that Hillary Clinton was the most unlikable politician ever to run for office. I've now rethought that. Kamala Harris, clearly, she abuses the privilege of being stupid. She cannot speak. Tim Walz, God, I don't even know where to go with that. But let them run. We've got great candidates, whether it's a Steve Hilton or anybody else. We've got great conservative candidates who will run against them. Let these retards on the liberal side run. They're imploding, and they know it, by the way. Even your average Democrat, your average lifelong, liberal Democrat knows that they're in a heap of trouble. Not just because of Tampon Tim and Kamala Harris, but because they know that the policies that they've been promoting for all of these years aren't working. They know that despite what they want to say about Donald Trump, our economy is doing better. They know that even though they said, oh my God, the tariffs, we can't do this. Turns out they're actually working. And they know that.
I'm in 100% agreement. The Democrats are feeling the heat even in California. Retail theft. Scott Wiener's trying to come up with a deal. I mean, he wants you to be arrested 3 times before they do anything. It's a total fraud. But like the gas tax, 4 Democrats were calling for the CARB had to resign over the 65 a gallon a cent gas tax or anything, and we got an update on that. We'll get to you tomorrow on that. But they wouldn't be saying this kind of stuff if their constituency, and these are in some pretty liberal areas in some cases, LA and San Francisco, they wouldn't be saying that if their constituents, their core constituency wasn't paying the heat on that. You may be a tranny, nutcase, liberal Democrat, but $5 going on $8 a gallon of gas, and then they're going to cut all electric water heaters and regular heaters of your house. And I will guarantee you, if they ban gas heaters in your house, there will be 3 people in California that can afford to heat your house in the wintertime of that, because electricity to heat a house will cost you about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree. And those are the sorts of things, Roy, that are going to make people think. It's what actually hits you in your own wallet, in what they call, the dinner table conversations. These are the things that make people hopefully actually think and say, this is not working for me. And even that is why, by the way, Trump ended up winning over African Americans and Hispanics and Asians, because they said, look, we've been buying into this whole idea that the Democrats have our backs, that they're going to, but they haven't. They look at what they're actually spending on groceries, what's happened with their children's education, whether or not they can afford to buy a house, whether or not they have opportunities for jobs. And they know that those things aren't happening. So I think that, I disagree with a lot of what's going on in this administration. I really do. Donald Trump has, he has failed for me to pull things like the mRNA vaccines off the market. There's been some movement on, cutting back on what we are recommending in terms of vaccination, not nearly enough. But despite all of that, the bottom line is everything Trump is doing is helping our economy. It's helping us get back to being a world power. It's helping us to be respected, on a world stage. And so even though, and this is what people need to hear, even though I disagree with a lot of what they're doing, I'm unhappy with a lot of what they're doing, I'm disappointed that they haven't done some of the things I wanted. The bottom line is he is so far ahead of what anyone else would have ever done, Roy, that you got to support him and his efforts.
61% egg prices down since Trump came in office. That says it. That says a lot right there. And all of them were crowing about that. But I want to get to the other issue that came across California this weekend. We had the California High School State Track and Field Championships. Obviously, from the IE, there's this boy from Harupa Valley High School here, in Riverside area of that, who's been winning the long jump and the whole controversy that's been going on around. It was really not a controversy. The insanity that's been going on, letting him compete, then having 2 gold medals awarded, one for him and one for the first girl that did that. And it's been absolutely crazy. But Trump, like you said, Trump tweeted today, hey, a biological male won in that. I told Newsom not to do it. He went and he fully understood what was going to happen. And he said, large-scale fines will be imposed. This is the difference between this Trump administration and hopefully a new administration coming into California, if we can get someone like Trump to come into California, because that's what we need. We need somebody who knows what to do, sticks to his guns, and doesn't back down, Dr. Kelly.
100%. And the bottom line is, Roy, this is so out of control. We have got to stop this. Either you have a Y, you're either XX or XY. Those are your options. God didn't give us other options in terms of your chromosomes. You don't have other options. So you've got to either be your male or female. I don't care what you want to identify. I identify as a lot of things. I think I'm amazing. Okay. I think I'm this. I think I'm that. Okay. I don't care what you identify as. You can identify as a princess, identify as a mermaid, identify as a stud muffin. I don't care. But you don't get to force everybody else to say, yes, you are that. Nobody else has to address me as amazing because I think I'm amazing. They're to address me as, okay, here are my pronouns, Her Majesty. Do I get to say that? No, of course not. We have got to get back to reality. The more important thing is we fought tooth and nail for Title IX. We fought for girls and women, girls' sports to be represented, to make sure that girls had the opportunity to participate not only on the field, but to have the access to things like scholarship money, those sorts of things. As long as you've got dudes, and that's what they are, you've got guys who want to competing against them, the girls will never win. And that's not fair. It's simply, it's a sham. It's absolute hypocrisy. And we've got to stop this. I swear to God, I can't even believe I'm having these conversations on air. And I do every day because everybody's covering it. And they should be. We've just got to say, stop. No. 2 + 2 is 4. That's the reality. You can say 2 + 2 is 5, but it's not true. Okay? It's the same thing with these sports.
1,000%. And, the girls that were there, that you got on the 3 that were there, that went really 1, 2, 3 versus the dude that was in there. And if you look at that, the top girl jumped about 40 foot. He went about 42. And this guy wouldn't even be in the finals on the boys team where he should be. He has absolutely bad form. The girls are actually, they're competing against each other, and the top 3 girls have the best, the best physical and training and using the right techniques. This guy couldn't compete in the boys. Is totally looks like a fish out of water trying to do the long jump. And he just, he's cremating the best of the girls. And that's what Title IX was brought in over 50 freaking years ago under Richard E. Nixon, for crying out loud, of this. And now we're reverting back even worse than we are then, Dr. Kelly.
No, absolutely. And the reality, Roy, is that all of these, whether it's the runners, people in track, field and track, or the swimmers, Leah Thomas, all of these males, and that's what they are, they're males. They can say that they want to dress up as females, but they're males. And they were lousy competitors in their own sport as males. So they decided that they would instead, quote, identify as a female and compete against girls so that they could actually win something. What we really need are a bunch of big dudes. We need big men, boys, males in those sports to say, oh, you know what? I also identify as female, and to come in and to crush Leah Thomas, to crush these fake, quote unquote, trans people running against girls. Because once they know that they can't simply change genders so that they can win a trophy, for the love of God, if you need a trophy, I'll buy you one, honey. I'll buy you one. I'll bring it to your house. I'll tell you you're awesome. You're not. Just stop. But it would be really, really great if we had a bunch of super athlete males say, I'm going to drop out of and not compete this season in my sport, and I'm going to say I'm trans so that I can crush these fakers, these, Leah Thomases, these people. And the problem is, somebody's got to have the guts, the cojones in Congress to say, we are going to define what is a male, what is a female, and what can compete, who can compete in these different sports. And we are not going to allow this. Come up with some other category. Oh, the confused category. Call them whatever you want. I don't care what you call them. The trans category. The I used to be a dude, now I'm a chick category. Whatever. Call them what you will. But we cannot destroy women's sports because we have people who are confused.
I said, where was this when I was going to junior high and high school? And one kid finally figured it out in New York. He competes on the boys' team, all that. I've trains with them, all that. During the day, he says, well, I'm a female, so he goes out and checks out the chicks in the locker room and watches them undress and all that other stuff. Like I said, where was this stuff? I mean, I'd have thought I'd have died, went to heaven, my birthday, 4th of July, Christmas, all whopped into one if this was I was thinking when I first heard this, I figured that in my day, this would have been exploited to the 9,000th degree on that. And again, why it's amazing a little bit, kind of gets your head kind of spinning. How our society is backed up so much in the last 5 years. It's truly been something to see, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree. And it's really sad because I look at the girls, it's not just that this is something that they're, quote, interested in. These girls spend their lives. These are the kids who get up at 4 a.m. and, have court time or, ice rink time, or they're at the track with a trainer early in the morning, late at night. They forego other things. They're trying to get a scholarship to college, for example, for track and field or for tennis or for whatever it is. And they're getting beaten by these guys who are way bigger, stronger. Listen, viva la difference. I actually love that there are two genders, that there are two sexes, that males will always have bigger muscle mass, longer bones, more dense bone structure. They will be faster. They will be stronger. All of those things. Women have other unbelievable skill sets. And maybe women end up being better fighter pilots because perhaps, I don't know, maybe their response time is quicker. Maybe they are quicker to make decisions. They certainly are better at things like child rearing. But why are we allowing males, trans or otherwise, to come in and decimate girls' sports? It's sad, and I hate it for the poor girls who have really spent so much time, money, effort, passion, energy, emotion in training for these things, only to be wiped out by some dude in a skirt.
Got a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to let the audience know about?
Well, again, I'm watching, as people know, on a daily basis what's going on with the new HHS and Secretary Kennedy. I am discouraged by the thought that the mRNA vaccines have not been fully pulled from the market. I think we have overwhelming data that states that they should be. I am happy, however, that they're at a minimum changing the recommendations. It looks like they are chipping away at it. I'm guessing that Robert Kennedy does not have the ability to do everything in one fell swoop because he's hamstrung by the administration. So they are slowly cutting back. I'm watching it on a regular basis. All I can tell people is don't fall prey to some fear fest about a new form of bird flu or a new COVID or a new something. Here's the deal. There's nothing dangerous out there right now. There's nothing on the horizon. Just do everything you've been doing. Eat well, sleep well, exercise, mitigate your stress, and don't worry about the rest. Your immune system will take care of it.
Thanks for being on, Dr. Kelly. We'll do this again soon.
Sounds great.
Dr. Kelly Victory saying it as we say only as she can. Holy bejesus, some of the stuff that we endure is absolutely off the charts sometimes. Hit some of the local news before we bail out on our, only 45-minute show today or so that we're doing. Instead of that, a teacher and their student were shared some memories outside of Marietta School. They reunited after many years apart. Good news on that. UC Riverside to build a medical school, hospital research center, right on in the Riverside side, but right on the Moreno Valley line there, right by the Canyon Springs Shopping Center, Register of Voters area in that. So that's something to look forward to. Hemet Police Department participated in a nationwide organized retail theft undercover blitz, teaming up with stores like Ultra Beauty, Marshalls and stuff. It's great to see law enforcement all across the board finally cracking down on retail theft in California. Thank goodness for Prop 36. One dead, one injured in a banning I-10 crash. As we said, Viva la Trump. Price of eggs have dropped 61%. 61% since Trump took office. Of course, as we covered with Dr. Kelly about the males in girls sports. On that, Colton cops are doing the torch run for the Special Olympics, so good job on that. Target, first Target in Harupa Valley, they're doing some hiring, so if you need a job and want to work for Target, go check them out. Maybe you'll get hired. U.S. Border Patrol arrests a dude in Barstow. Another good job to see our law enforcement agencies enforcing our immigration law as it should be. Good Samaritan, who stopped a man and a woman, said who were abandoning kittens who were malnourished and sick, but a Good Samaritan again saved those kittens from probably a horrible death. Eastside Arts and Culture Festival returns to Lincoln Park this Saturday in River City on that. Good job from Sheriff Chad, the Sharp, the undersheriff, and the other dudes down there from Riverside Sheriff's Office who went and paid respects to the son of Deputy Timothy Corlow, who lost his life, I think, about a year ago on duty. So good job for that. 112 years strong, Fontana's Days of Festival returns, dancing in the street and all that good stuff on there. So the good folks at Fontana, their biggest party is back. We like to see the old traditions back. We should not get rid of that because we'll revert to doing stupid things like we talked about earlier on this. Keep the pressure on. Be heading to the Moreno Valley City Council, see if they approve the Lewis Group's Civic Center. Maybe we'll finally, after 40 years plus of being a city, maybe we'll get a downtown area in Moreno Valley. 200,000 people and there's no downtown Moreno Valley. There's a downtown Paris. There's a downtown, well, obviously Riverside, San Bernardino, Hemet, Palm Springs, Ontario, Temecula. They all got downtowns. Moreno Valley, second biggest city in Riverside County. No downtown. It's absolutely. That's why they call it Moron Valley. I hate to say it, my native area, but we've earned that reputation wholeheartedly. But that's why we got to knuckle down. Keep the pressure on them rats. The big thing coming up, I think it's on Thursday or Friday, South Coast Air Quality Management. You need to put, we'll have links tomorrow or emails. Email them. You can call in on the Zoom meeting. They want to ban gas water heaters and gas heating for your home. And as we said, if you have to heat your home by electricity, and this is no joke, you think it's $200 or $300 a month in the wintertime? It'll be $2,000 or $3,000 a month to heat your home by electricity. They will price you out of your home with this nonsense. We beat them back the last time. They're trying to retool it and come back and pass it again. We must stop this. I think it's June 5th or 6th, either Thursday or Friday, but we'll have more updates on that tomorrow and Thursday. That'll do it for today. But as we usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here in 23 hours. Why? You're the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The preceding was a paid program.
All right, Roy, have a good couple days.
You got it.
I will talk to you Friday.
You got it.